So we talked at the conference, and I really feel like the legal space is a great place to produce some marketing for you, like not just on podcasts, but all those the Etsy space for lawyers, like gift giving. I mean, how many referral sources give bourbons? And maybe one of the ideas that I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but maybe once you get, I mean, your long-term play could be to sell the company. I don't know, but if you don't and you keep it in the family, how cool would it be if you were able to, how they have bottles of wine with
Hmm.
different your name on it, whatever, but
Right.
you do it with a little bit of a twist where it's you're giving it to these firms, but there's got to be a story behind it. I mean, what story sells is that you're a lawyer who owns the company. You're like LeBron James has his tequila company, but you have some kind of idea that machinates around this mind that I'm thinking of, but I can't put it two and two together. Is that we trade in alcohol as lawyers, and even though they talk about us, having more healthy living, I mean, come on, lawyers until the day they're not stressed out are going to drink, and even if they don't drink, to relax, it's just talking about they can appreciate a good bourbon, they can appreciate a good wine. I mean, a lot of lawyers still in the custom. We have a bar here, and we have a board certified trial lawyer that from time to time comes in at the end of a day and has himself a shot of bourbon over a big rocks glass. And
Hmm.
so my question would be is, have you thought about marketing in the legal industry and how you would do that? Because that would be like a cool underground thing where not so underground, not that lawyers are cool, but the fact that you could take advantage of the fact that you're a lawyer, you got into this business, and that lawyers like to drink and like to give alcohol as gifts to their referrals and to each other.
I hadn't really thought about that, but I'm going to think about it now. I like that. I like that. No, the idea. I had a client who came to me, and he happens to be our state majority leader in the Senate. And he came to me and he said, "Look, somebody showed me this old bourbon label called Kentucky Senator Bourbon, and I want to see if I can trademark it, see if it's trademarked, and if not, I'd like to trademark it." And then he wanted me to kind of help him put the deal together. So he and I talked for about 10 minutes over lunch, and I said, "Look, Damon, I got an idea. How about you and I just partner up and we'll go 50-50?" I did check the rules. I did check the ethics rules. It's okay. You can partner as long as you disclose to your client. Anyway, he was already a good friend. And so that's kind of how we started. He had this old label. We did the trademark work. It had gone into disuse. We re-trademarked it. And then we went out and said, now we got to raise some money. So we raised some money. And then it was, okay, now we got to buy some bourbon, right? We got some money. And we started looking at different things, and this is where the Indiana bourbon came in. We almost did a deal where we were going to acquire a bunch of Indiana bourbon. And then my partner, who's the politician, somebody reminded him if it says Kentucky in the name, it has to be Kentucky bourbon. So then we had to restart, and we were able to acquire some Kentucky bourbon. And it was right during COVID. And it's really interesting. When you get a trademark, you have to use it in 3 years or you lose it. And after so we had the trademark, and we had to continuously do these 6-month extensions, but you only get 5 of those. We got our bourbon bottled and in commerce one day before our deadline.
Oh
Oh
wow.
wow.
We had everything lined up. We knew we were cutting it close, and that big ice storm hit in 2020. Maybe, in the Midwest, Indianapolis, Louisville, Kentucky, Lexington, everything got shut down. You couldn't do anything. So our bourbon was being shipped to our bottler, and it was on a truck. And the truck couldn't go anywhere. It was literally iced in. So the bourbon ends up at a distributing warehouse, and we drive up. We call them. We're like, "Is the bourbon there?" They're like, "Yeah." Well, we need it delivered to the bottler 2 miles away, and they're like, huh, "Good luck." And I'm like, "You don't seem to understand. We really need it." So I got a friend of mine who had a pickup truck, and we went to the distribution warehouse, paid the forklift guy $100. He put the bourbon in the back of the pickup truck. We went to the bottler because we had to get it bottled. Got it bottled, took a bunch of pictures, got the first distributor to come over to buy some, gave us a receipt, and we made it by one day.
Oh my
Oh wow.
God.
It was awesome.
Yeah. Talk about calling it close.
Yeah.
And then we've been very fortunate. So bourbon in Kentucky, as in most states with liquor, it's a three-step distribution. You have a producer, a distributor, a retailer, a consumer, right? So as a producer, we're out of it once we sell to our distributor. And then the distributor normally has 45 days to pay you. When a distributor brings to a retailer, they get paid when they drop it off. And of course, the consumer always pays when they buy it. All three of our releases, our distributor has bought in the entirety in one purchase. So we have bottled it, and then 24 hours later, the distributor comes and takes it all. And they've sold out. So we've done 3 releases now and sold them all out. We talked earlier about our next steps in doing contract distribution, contract distilling, but we currently have enough bourbon to kind of stay at the pace we're at right now for the next 7 years. So nothing big, but just kind of stay in the market. And then hopefully we'll be able to ramp up. Hopefully the bourbon we're going to distill at that point will be 6 years old, and then we can ramp it up considerably. I'm coming in hot. Can you hear the sound? Yeah, nothing I reach. Stop me now. I'm in control. I'm